Okay. So let's get started. It's 4:10. Terry's here. You have a little fill him in when he gets here. The first item on the agenda is a review of the board self-evaluation. I provided in the packet this year's and last year's evaluation. We had a few unsures. I think part of this is we have a relatively new board member. So that's probably where some of that is coming from. But other than that, there's been, compared to last year, a big shift towards strongly agree and agree. A few neutrals, and there's only one category that had a somewhat disagree. So I think the things to really focus on right now are where we had multiple unsures, and then where we had somewhat disagree, just to be able to, oh no, this 3 is the page number.
What?
I thought this 3 it was
It's been a long day.
Okay. It's a long life.
And the smoke outside. Blame it on the smoke outside.
So there was 2 unsures, for the question, are board members welcome to and inclusive of all of our directors? And there was one somewhat disagree on the board has developed formal criteria and a process for evaluating executive director and other staffing relationships. But other than that, everything was pretty solidly within the positive range. And then there were some comments, I don't think it's unfounded to say that there's not a formal review process other than like within the confines of the contract that you have with me, and knowing that there's a renewal period at the end of the year, at which time you get to decide whether or not you still like me.
I think that I also put down in my answers that aren't down here, that I didn't think we had a formal process. I think that it probably makes some kind of sense to have some sort of rubric or something. I mean, obviously, you're doing a great job, but for your benefit and ours, it would be good to have something.
I agree. I'm actually wondering, thinking about it now, if that's something to do with the normal annual board evaluation, since that one's kind of the same one we do every year. It's not super in-depth. Maybe there's some kind of a rubric we can put together to do with that.
I don't think it has to be terrible.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, we did the superintendent one recently, and it's crazy hours long for each person. And it requires all sorts of backup, and all this, show us clippings and all of this. And I don't necessarily know that we have to do that, but it would be good to have something formal.
Yeah. Yeah, and doing it around the time that your decision about renewing my contract is coming up is probably a good time to be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and for CYA, alone, for both of us, like you have, all of these good reviews, let's say, and we decide to screw you in some way, I don't know that we can do that, but you have the backup to show you've got good stuff where you got it too, so.
Bill, anything that you noticed?
No, let's get back to what you just, did you think, I missed it because I was reading a text message I just got from a lawyer. Did you think there was something in there that negatively reflected on you? Is that what
No. The question, where I think there was a disagree is just about having a formal process of evaluation.
Okay.
Not saying that I did anything wrong, just saying that we don't have any kind of documented way of reviewing my success as director.
Okay.
We self-evaluate the board, but.
I would think the self-evaluation of the board is also evaluating you.
Yeah.
If the board does well, you're doing well.
Yeah.
I would think.
So.
Yeah.
I think they're a little separate. I think we can evaluate ourselves and whether we're doing a good job, and then you evaluate your executive and make sure that that's a good fit. So, again, I don't think that we need to do anything that is too extensive.
Mm.
As Tracy said, the fact that we approve her contract you know, they sort of test and approval
Right.
of work.
Right.
But I think just having some form that says, here are the things, here are our expectations, and these are, you know, these have been met or haven't been met.
Yeah. So you're right, like, feedback about my work comes out in this, for sure, but I think there's just something that maybe think about for the end of the
Yeah.
year.
I'll
These ones over here on the right-hand side, are those,
Those are unshores.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
trying to go.
what, I don't understand. Do you think those are from newer members?
I would guess that that's the case. You know, we have, like, I'm not saying this is Matt, because I don't know that it was, but he's only been here, he's
Yeah.
been to maybe 4 or 5 meetings, so he's still kind of getting used to some of these processes and.
And that number 34, I can see that throwing a loop on some people. If you don't understand QuickBooks reports, I did those reports for 30 years with my union position. So I can see where those reports can look unsettling unless you.
Yeah, the last few months, we haven't been doing thorough treasurer's reports because we've been running up against time, so it could also be this
Yeah.
factor too.
But also anybody who's been on the board for more than 3 years, I would say, we
Yeah.
used to not have any idea what was going on, and now we do. It's a weird answer for now, unless you are new to the board.
Right.
We definitely know what's going on now compared to where we were a few years ago.
Yeah, so I don't know for sure, but I would suspect that these unsures are from some combination of our two newest members.
Yeah, I would agree.
There was a question on here about, I think, about onboarding new members, right? And about whether we have a formal onboarding procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we don't really have a formal procedure. Not that I can remember, when I got on the board, but also I was wondering, some of these unsures have to do with somebody who's not totally positive of what the role is.
Right. Yeah, so we could work
They
with,
will work on, I think. When it comes to like the distribution of funds, for example, I feel like we probably wouldn't have gotten into the trouble we did several years ago about the pilots being distributed if anybody on the board demanded to be distributed every month. You know, because we kept looking at the
you knew that they were
financial,
distributed.
and we were like, oh, these look great, we have a lot of money. What are we gonna do with it all? Didn't realize it was all supposed to be paid out for months and months. So I think if we have some kind of I don't know
Yeah.
how formal it would have to be, but.
Well, some of those nuanced things that are like, this is important to know for the oversight of the organization.
Yeah,
Like, because there's the normal stuff of policies, and like, I'll sit down with a new member and say, this is what EDIT is, this is what we do.
yeah, that's,
We actually just, as a marketing committee, I started drafting a, like, what is data sheet that's 2 pages, you know? But to have some of those nuanced things, like, this is how pilot disbursements work, this is how meeting notices work, that we need to make sure we're getting meeting notices out, like, some of those things that are,
just the basic idea of what to do with it.
Yeah.
What incentives we offer.
Yeah.
How those funds are distributed. I see a lot of misinformation online about us every time we're mentioned. It's always something that's not. Did you see that there was a whole thing about, we were looking for volunteers for the marketing committee, and it's like, how much are they already spending on their staff?
Yeah, fortune.
no.
Why?
What staff? With one person who gets paid.
You won't believe some of the stupid shit I'm hearing right now about this hotel. But it's from stupid people that, lucky if they know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, but I do think that, I mentioned the marketing committee last night, like, there's always gonna be people who don't understand pilots, but some of those people are pretty close to us. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's people in this building that don't understand.
Yeah.
They see that there's 0 taxes on the tax bill, and know that there's a pilot, not realizing that there's a separate bill that goes out,
Right.
potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And the idea that, like, yeah, the pilot, you have a pilot, so you don't pay taxes, well, not that simple. Is a thing that people in the room especially need to understand, and what that process looks like, and why you do it, and all that other stuff.
So I think it's just like finding, and this is why having the marketing committee is nice, like finding more consistent ways to communicate with the community,
Yeah.
communicate with our stakeholders, I think will help with this.
Mm.
And as we start to find other ways to add value that people can see, I think we might start to help.
I think for me, it's the idea that we have a formal orientation process,
Yeah.
formal onboard, and I think we should have something more formal than we already have.
Yep. Great.
Like,
Yeah, I agree. You know, board I'm on that never had SWAN, I've been on it for a long time now. Well, now it's not Cuba Cortland anymore, because they divided, or they mushed them.
That has not actually happened yet. They put it on pause.
Oh, did they? Good, because I had to miss the last meeting because my sister being so sick, but,
Yeah.
uh,
So that hasn't happened yet. It
Oh,
could
good.
still happen in October or January.
oh, good, good. Because I'm looking forward to that, because Oswego County, I think they're the big hot shots, and it worked out good with Cuba and Cortland,
Oh,
but
I respectfully disagree that this Oswego is gonna.
you don't think Oswego's gonna think they're hot shots?
I mean, I think they are, but I also think there's gonna be a lot more, I think it's a better fit in terms of both CCC being the provider in both counties. Our labor shed is better overlapping. We have more in common with Oswego in terms of like a lot of people in northern Cuba work in Oswego County, we just don't have as much of that overlap with Portland County.
Yeah,
And I think just the way they operate is gonna fit better with what we need.
that's good, I'm glad to hear you say that,
Yeah.
because I hadn't had that.
I think it's a good thing.
That's good, I'm glad to hear it, because I hadn't heard anyone explain it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was no, when new members come to that group, they just sit down, and it's never really explained.
Yeah.
I understand it very well, because I've been there so many
Yeah.
years, but, and we only meet quarterly, but, yeah,
And that's even harder, when you're only meeting
Yeah,
4 times a
yeah.
year, getting oriented to a board takes a whole year. So, yeah, no, I can certainly do that, like, there's an old, like, new member package that I can relook at and either update or use that as a starting point, and then I can kind of create a, process of like, okay, who sits down with them, and then what do we do at their first board meeting, and, you know, it would probably be good for everybody to have like a one-page reference sheet for
Yeah.
every meeting.
Sure.
You know, so, okay. That's fair.
people just understanding their role as a board member, especially on like a one sheet thing. Maybe I'm just bringing too much to the board baggage, but that's smart.
Yeah. It's just a good reminder.
Yeah.
Anything else on the?
Now, I was, when I looked at this, I'm not a double screen guy, going back and forth between this year and last year, is this looking better than last year's? I mean, I thought so, but I couldn't.
Yeah, so notice coming down, it's a lot on the first 2 columns, and then going back to last year, had a lot still over here. Oh, that's backwards.
Yeah, but we had a lot.
Never mind, it's still good. It
Definitely
was
had
good
a lot
last
more
year too.
people and disagreed last year.
Yeah, so it's trending the right way, I didn't realize I did it backwards.
Now, is that the year I was having a bad day and was angry? Or was that the year before I was angry?
Isn't that both years?
Dan, I gotta say, remind me why I like you so much.
I'm sorry.
I said that early this meeting.
But yeah, this year we have a lot more strong agrees,
Yeah.
not quite as many neutrals. Do the last one short. it's
Yeah.
heading in the right direction.
So I think, well, I've said it before, this is the best board I've ever worked with on Ada, definitely the best. And a lot of it is Gwen, and you, I've always told you that, this board works best when you're in charge, by far, absolutely by far. That's like, you just remind my daughter, that's always does, what she does when I give her a compliment, she does this.
It's a millennial thing.
Yeah.
Anything else on the board evaluation that we wanted to?
That looked good. Yeah, like I sat on the morning after, I'm thinking, what did I forget to do? You know, being retired isn't always that easy.
Yeah, I know, you lose track of time.
We can switch if you want. I'll
No.
be retired if you wanna show up to my job every day.
I do work 2 days a week up to hospital. I had to do something, I was
Yeah.
gaining weight like
Yeah.
crazy and getting stiff, I was having a hard time even walking around, it was ridiculous, but I don't know how long I'm gonna keep doing that. I just have to do things to keep myself moving.
Yeah.
We do a lot of camping in the summer. Summer's a lot easier than winter. I don't ski, I don't do any of that winter stuff, but summer we're on the go all the time. And I actually got, so I don't have to go to campgrounds now where I can circle the camper around. I'm getting good at camping, or backing in. Of course, everybody in the family all runs when I'm backing in, but my 6-year-old grandson, last weekend, he's yelling, "Move everyone, Grandpa's backing the camper in."
He's just trying to give you space.
Right.
Anyway, so next, it's nice to have some fresh eyes on the organization sometimes, so we have a couple folks who are not on the board, who are on the marketing committee. It was brought up that our org chart was old, like it still has the old logo, and it also didn't include any of the committees. I don't think it clearly incorporated our appointing entities, so it was just brought up last month in the marketing committee meeting that maybe we wanna freshen this up a little bit. And this is what I came up with, I mean, this is legitimately it.
Hello.
And and so we just finished up with the evaluation, and
I thought it was 4:30. It's usually a half hour before. How long is this meeting supposed to be?
Terry, don't worry about it, gave us time to talk smack about it.
Okay, good. When did it become? I'm sorry, I should have looked at the.
that's okay. Hi.
Hello.
Did you have anything you wanted to add on the board evaluation in particular? The two things we really talked about, as like outcomes of that is potentially, looking at some sort of a more formal documented evaluation of my position, of the director position.
So instead of the board, also the executive director?
Yeah, nothing like crazy, just something to kind of say like, okay, we've really sat down and thought about it, and as we're going into a conversation about renewing Tracy's contract, here's, you know, a documentation of how we're feeling.
Okay.
And Bill's point is a lot of it comes out in the board self-evaluation, like as a reflection, but, you know.
It'll be more
There's
specific.
something, it would be good to have something more specific for all of us.
Okay.
Documentation, and then the
That's
second
fair.
is formalizing the board orientation a little bit more. I've been kind of winging it with the last few people who joined the board, so, really trying to kind of formalize that process as well.
No, when I started, I basically was told I have to do the state.
Yes.
Is that still mandatory? Okay, good. So all oncoming, onboarding includes that. So Matt done this yet?
Yes, he has.
Okay, good.
Yep.
What?
But those are the
That
two.
training is good, but I don't think it what it doesn't do, it doesn't tell you like how to be a board member, how to come to a
Oh, okay.
meeting and.
Don't show up a half hour late.
This is on the agenda, it says what time the meeting starts.
Look at this, it's like, oh, I better get there by 4:30.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about like updating the new board member package, and then maybe creating some kind of a one-pager that is almost a reference for all board members on a monthly basis of like, here's what we're here to do, and here are things that need to happen throughout the course of the year, and, you know, things like that.
Okay.
So, And then I was just explaining that for the org chart, a couple members of the marketing committee are not board members, and they noticed that our org chart was kind of old. It had the old logo on it and didn't reflect like
Okay,
the way that the committees play in.
okay.
So this was just a refresh based on that feedback. There's not much more to our organization than this, but, I think that this better shows our appointing entity and how the city treasurer plays in, our officers, and then the committee, the regulatory versus the marketing committee, so.
The city treasurer just signs all the
Yeah,
checks.
so kind of all the checks. And last time we updated the bylaws, we decided to leave it that way, just add the chair as a backup signer. So I figured that should be in our org chart. So I want to bring this to this committee to see if you have any issues with it, and if it looks good, then we'll ask the board to approve it.
Okay.
Okay. This was the old one. Yeah, this one here. A lot of this is also gone away, but we don't have an acting secretary in this year anymore, so that's also out of date.
That's a secret little band.
Yes, so that's what we're replacing. It also still has, and then now we're into policy review. The monitoring policy was the one that we amended most recently, so I figured I'd put that up front. But there weren't any this year that I felt like we needed to specifically address, so that's all in there, and let me know if there's any that you want to review or talk about. So some of these are one-page policies, like especially the ones at the bottom, the last four are all one page, less than one page, they're all pretty standard. The rest are where, first four is where we get some specialized.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at the whistleblower policy last year.
We did look at whistleblower, that's because we found out that the hotline didn't work anywhere. So it got uploaded,
The state hotline.
yes, it got updated to reflect the state's website for reporting.
Gotcha. So there's nothing on here that you'd like to make into a project between now and our next meeting?
Not specifically. I think these are pretty cheap. I mean, I think next year we probably should take a good look at our bylaws, because we should every 2 years, and we did last year. So,
So next year.
like next year, let's take a look at it and make sure everything aligns still. I do think there's references to like acting treasurers, acting secretaries, but those are all mays. The board may appoint these things. One thing that might not be reflected in the bylaws is the fact that we have the city treasurer and then we have a board treasurer in practice. That might not be fully reflected in our bylaws. So that board treasurer position is more like.
I know I missed that. Can I just a quick eye review of the board evaluation? Just to kind of-
Oh, the board
We
evaluation?
should have the meeting all over again.
No, I just want to see it. I just want to see it.
So this is last year, I realize it swapped the order,
Okay,
but
that's fine.
this year's, mostly we're in the strongly agree stage.
Mm-hmm.
There are some insurers, which we said, you know, it's probably a combination of the two newer members that are in this unsure category for, when we see it. I don't know that, but he, we had two insurers on this item of our boardroom is welcoming to and inclusive of all of our directors. And then there was one somewhat disagreed on the evaluating the executive director and the staffing relationship.
Oh, and that's where this came out of,
Yep.
included in this thing, so,
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, we do, like I said, and here we do see comments about my performance and
Mhm.
it does come out, it's a reflection, but, I don't think it's I think it's a founded answer to say that we don't have to follow the process necessarily. And that's about it. So I think we have, from last year, we've migrated even a little bit more towards the agree side. We have fewer unsure, fewer
Yep.
in the disagree categories, fewer neutrals, so we're still migrating in a positive direction.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sorry to do a rewind.
Let me just have a look here. About the officers. See, this isn't actually specifically named as the treasurer, that's in the law, so I guess it's actually probably not a big deal.
I believe I'm the secretary,
Yeah, for the secretary.
and it's not the,
Chair and the secretary. You were the secretary.
Oh, you're vice chair now, right? Yes.
You're running the meeting.
I was gonna do, I was both at one point, or did I switch? Did I do a
I think
switch?
you swapped,
You switched.
yeah.
Okay,
And
so I don't have to
then-
sign anything anymore?
No, I haven't never Dan to sign anything, but
All right.
you just have to run the meeting tonight, because Ben's not gonna be here.
Well,
Oh, by the way, speaking of which, there's your notated agenda.
thank you.
So this doesn't truly accurately represent what's happening with our treasurer position, so that might be something we wanna look at for next year or before the end of the year, but, I don't think it's technically wrong either. We kind of informally have this board treasurer that reports to the board, comes to the meetings, you know, does all that, but technically, the custody of our funds is the city treasurer, because he's the one who actually signs the check. Whereas Tessa is the one who actually knows what's going on in our books.
Fair enough.
So this might be something we want to address, just to make it align with our actual practice. Do you want to just do that this year, now that since we're talking about it?
If we do, what are your suggestions?
I would probably just update this, section, I would probably just draft some language to have it broken down into two sections, one being the regulatory treasurer and one being the board treasurer, and break up these responsibilities
So,
into those two categories.
Two names, yep.
Yep, or two positions.
Got it.
One of them is just like, ex officio, because it's automatically the city treasurer, and one of them the board designates.
Good.
So if you'd like, I can do that, and I can just send it around by email, and then we're not actually gonna do any approvals of this until January, so we can just hold on to it until January.
All right.
Unless we feel it's super important to make this change now, which I don't think it is. But, cool. Chart. Good. Treasure section. But that's the only thing I can think of in the policy to,
No, Bob would be the ex officio treasurer, correct?
yes,
Or the city treasurer?
yes.
And that's all you would say for that, right?
Yeah.
That's the only one you change, break section 4 into two sections. And go from there.
Sections to reflect that we've got the city treasurer and the board treasurer.
Board treasurer, got it.
Yep. I think that's it. And then the other policies, I think they're all in pretty good shape. Anyone else wants to look at it? No? Great. Any other discussion or business for the governance committee meeting?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Oh, the motion to adjourn.
Well, then I'll second it.
Great. Bill, are you in favor?
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
We get to adjourn.
Wanna go home?
What's that?
Can we all go home? Oh, we got another meeting.
That's why I was always